Hi everyone! In this video, we're trying out the fun Japanese fabric dyeing technique called Shibori. You'll need a tablecloth to protect your workspace, and if possible, this is a great project to do outside. You'll need fabric or clothing to dye. It's super important that you choose fabric that has cotton in it. The higher the percentage, the better. That will give you the most vibrant color. You'll need a bucket or other container to put the dye in that you won't need to use for food again. You'll need supplies to create the designs on the fabric. It will vary depending on which design you want to do, but you can use popsicle sticks, rubber bands, clothespins, wood blocks, poles, and more. You'll need fabric dye, of course. Indigo is traditionally used for Shibori, but it's a little harder to work with, so I just use some denim blue dye from Dylon. Finally, you'll need some rubber gloves, otherwise your hands will become stained for a few days. So this first item is a pillowcase, and it's a little hard to show you on an item of this size, but I'm just going to do an accordion fold vertically down the pillowcase. So just fold that top section forward, and then pick it up and fold it back on itself. And if you're not familiar with an accordion fold, you can Google that and get a better idea of how exactly you do that. But you want to keep this as even and symmetrical as possible. And just continue on until the entire pillowcase is accordion folded. So at this point it should look like this. And now we're just going to do a triangular fold with this. So I'm just going to take that top right corner and fold it down like that so it's even with the bottom edge. Then I'm going to lift this up and fold it back over like this. Then flip that over and flip that up so it's even with the top edge. Then fold it back like this. Then flip that over and fold it down. So you're always maintaining this triangular shape. And then finally that last fold here. So it looks like this at this point. And now we just want to loosely secure this together. So we don't want to tie this tight enough that the rubber bands will leave marks. You just want to make sure that it's secure and it won't come apart while it's being dyed. And you'll see that I ended up coming back with thicker rubber bands on the ends just because I found that it was coming apart too easily. But just secure it whatever way works best for you. And then once it's all secured, it's ready to dye. And that's it for this one. So the next item I'm dyeing is a shirt, and I've got it so the bottom of the shirt is up here at the top. And just like on the last item, we're going to be accordion folding this. And again, it's hard to show you on an item of this size with the camera where it is. But you're just basically folding it back and forth so it creates this accordion-like fold. And then I'll do this last fold here. Then flip that over, and then I'm just going to fold up these edges that are sticking out and the sleeves on the sides. Just fold those inwards. And now I'm just going to do an accordion fold the other direction to create this square shape. Keep it as even as possible, but it doesn't have to be perfect, and so it looks like this. And normally for this you use 2 square wood blocks for this, but I didn't have any, so I decided to try cardboard, and it actually did work. So you'll put one of those on each end and squish the fabric together. And then I'm going to take rubber bands and put them across to hold those tightly in place, compressing the fabric. So I'm using thicker, stronger rubber bands for this so it holds it tight. And I'll just keep adding rubber bands until I have 3 going horizontally and 3 going vertically. Once that's done, it looks like this, and it's ready to go. The next item I'm dyeing is another pillowcase. So for this one, I'm just going to accordion fold it again, but this time I'm doing bigger sections. So that's the first section, and then I'll just fold that back on itself. So it looks like this. Now I'm going to go to the upper left corner and take a rubber band, and I'm going to grab a little section, make sure you're grabbing through all the layers, and then just tie the rubber band tightly around to create that little section. And then I'm repeating this on the upper right side. And we'll want to have 4 across here, so I'm evenly spacing those. So I'll add one here, and then grab another section right here and tie that off. So it looks like this, and then I'll flip that over, and I'm going to create sections in between that row. So I'll create one here, and one here. Then I'm going to take another rubber band and create another section a little bit lower and tie that off tightly, and repeat this on all of these. Then do it here on the other side. So there wasn't enough fabric left to go any lower with these sections, so instead I'm just going to bunch this whole thing together like this, and then use 2 rubber bands to tightly hold that in place. Make sure everything is tucked in and ready to go, and it looks like this. The next item I'm dyeing is this tank top, and for this you're just going to grab random sections and tie them off, just like we did on the last one. Make sure that you're grabbing through both layers of the shirt. And you can do this more randomly or follow a pattern depending on the look you're going for. I started out adding the sections more randomly, but it kind of ended up following a pattern, and I liked how that looked. Continue adding these sections until you're covering the entire shirt. So it looks like this, and it's ready to dye. The next thing I'm dyeing is this baseball cap, and for this one we're going to use a similar technique to the last one, but we're going to use stones to help tie off the sections. So I'm just going to take one stone at a time and just push it against the fabric, and just grab a section and tie it off with a rubber band. And I just did this randomly all over the hat, so just pushing the rock against the hat and then tying off that section with a rubber band. And just keep repeating this process until the hat is covered. So once it looks like this, it's ready to go. So the next item I'm dyeing is this tank top, and for this one we're going to make a center point and have circles coming out from that. So I'm just going to grab a section on the lower right side of the shirt. Again, make sure you're grabbing through both layers of the shirt, and then I'm just going to tie that off. Now I'm going to just create another one of these sections a little bit lower and tie that off with a rubber band, and then create another one. And another one, just bunching the fabric up and tying it off. And you're going to repeat the same process until you've used up all of the shirt. And you can try to make these more evenly spaced or more randomly spaced, it's up to you. So once I finish doing that, it looks like this and it's ready to go. And then finally, the last item I'm dyeing is this t-shirt, which got a little dirty from this pipe already, but we're just going to be wrapping it around this PVC pipe. So I'm going to start with the shirt facing up and starting at the top of the shirt and just wrap it tightly around the pipe, working down the shirt. Then once it's all wrapped up, set it down for a second and then take some twine and tie it around one end of the pipe. Then we're just going to take this twine and we'll be wrapping it tightly around the shirt to secure it in place. And again, make sure this is nice and tight as you're wrapping it. And keep the shirt in place as best you can. So just keep wrapping until you get all the way to the other end. Then I'm just going to take that end and just tie it off with some of the twine that's there. Then once it's secure, take both ends and push them together as much as you can so it's all scrunched up. So once everything is scrunched up and you're happy with it, it's ready to dye. So here are all the items before they got dyed. Just wanted to show you everything together. And here is an up-close look at the dye that I'm using. It's Dylon Jeans Blue dye, and this is for cotton or other natural fabrics. And this is the first time I use this kind of dye, and if I were to do this again, I'd probably add a bit more dye to the water just so the color was more vibrant. But whatever dye you're using, go ahead and follow the instructions to prepare the dye bath. So now the dye is ready to go, and I'm just going to put all of those items into the water. And then just keep moving those around and make sure that they're evenly covered in the water so there isn't one part that stays out of the water more than others. And just let them sit in there as long as you want until you like the color of them. And then for the item on the pipe, I just used a cup to pour the dye over it since it wouldn't fit in the bowl. So once you've decided that these are done and you're ready to take them out, just carefully squeeze them to get some of that excess water and dye out. And then instead of rinsing these right away, I like to put them in a grocery bag and let them sit at least overnight or 24 hours so the dye can just sit on them for a while and make them more vibrant. So just set that aside. And then the next day, before taking the rubber bands off, I rinsed them with cold water until the water ran clear. And then you can go ahead and do the exciting part, taking the rubber bands off and revealing the designs. And then before you wear these, be sure to wash them with warm water to get all of the dye out. So here is what all of them ended up looking like. I just wanted to show you a side-by-side of how they started with the rubber bands and how the design ended up looking. It's always so fun to see how these kind of projects turn out. This was such a fun summertime project. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the Shibori dye tutorial. If you'd like to see more tie-dye videos on my channel, I will put them on screen. Feel free to subscribe to see future videos. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.